You said it yourself, Frankie. Major 1 champs. Back at it again. Can they become champions of Major 2 back-to-back? Jacob, you make the call. Yes or no? That's all I want to hear.
I think right now it's just too early to tell. I think we have the potential to have another photo finish style race. I don't think there's been anybody on this region just yet to cement themselves as the team. If you look at the opposing NA region, you know, you would think Peterbot and Poya with how dominating they have been, but I can't spot one team on this region that is above and beyond everybody else. And that kind of makes me exciting. Casting that last FNCS was amazing, and I'm ready for another one.
We'll have to see what happens. It was close. I mean, you said it. The neck-to-neck finish, 1 point difference. History. It just sets up the storylines for these future tournaments, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves, Jacob. We're in the last qualifier, the second qualifier, which is also the last one before the semifinals. Then we'll have 3 days of semis to see who makes it those grand finals. Little 2-week break in between, so we'll be back May 10th for the semis. Well, let's see how this finishes off now. These players, with I believe just 10 minutes left to queue, means that they've kind of got to make a choice. Is this going to be the last match they want to play out? Or do they want to just go for elims for the next 10 minutes and then try and get into that last lobby? Kind of depends on how you're set up. Are you looted enough? Are you feeling that you can win the game? Do you want to risk getting into another early game engagement? That's what's going to be on these players' mind.
Yeah, it's just decisions. It's a little bit of the mind game with the timers on these lobbies. It's Kaizen and DKS. You see them going up against Snappy, and everything comes crumbling down. Quick dashes to save himself while landing a shot. Kaizen putting in a little work here before finally dropping down low. He knows one is above, and the quick turnaround. The mind game's coming out right now from Kaizen, switching targets multiple times throughout that fight to find the first elim.
What a way to box up your opponent. Quick bait and switch. And there he is, looking for another one. Kaizen, can you close it out? One wall is what's separating them here. Gets the replace, but his opponent looking to see if he can escape. Nice double edit to drop himself down and get himself out of that boxed up situation. But it is a 2 versus 1. He's going to have players from all angles now looking for shots. You can only run for so long when you should turn around and take some shots back at them.
There's another team moving in as well. They have to be careful and finish this fight quick. Otherwise, it's going to be fight after fight after fight. Finally, that player drops, but there's third-party shots come in. Position isn't necessarily revealed just yet. They only know the direction, not exactly where they're at, which is going to help that team because as soon as they saw some shots in that direction, they know that other player went down, and they immediately disengage, knowing it is going to be a little bit of a journey to zone.
Nice way to close it off quickly enough, like you said. Let's take a look at how Robin 237 were able to pick up that next one. 4 on the board for the duo. Not too bad at all. Gripey Kyrie as well in the zone, rotating in.
I'm a little worried for Kyrie, but with the 2 med kits and the Gripe, even with zone kind of pulling in currently, it's not going to be too much of a worry. You see him using a med kit already. So some of their HP heals being used at this stage in the game, third zone. A little bit too early than you would want to, but you know there's going to be opportunities for eliminations and scrabbage together any loot that might be left behind.
You can see did not want to use the med kits because of how powerful they can be in the late game. So making use of the bandages. Gripey found on the way to recuperate that HP that he needed. Quick stat as well, Jacob. High ground teams have won 68% of games this season in EU, which is, I mean, we talked about it many times about high ground and its potential for winning matches, but in the heal-off meta, you never really know.
And the interesting thing about this whole situation with Malibuca and Mustache is because of the fact that they only earned 250 points through this qualifier, they still need around a couple more placements, essentially. Right now, they are positioned on the leaderboard 33rd. Obviously, that can move depending on where you're looking at it. They definitely need a top 30 position, so they still have more work to do with how low the HP they are right now in a possible final game.
Right. We'll kind of have to see. I think they want to close off this game, though. But a lot of the players now, just 6 minutes left until you can't find any more matches, which is why we might be seeing some extra aggression here from Kaizen. Looks like he wants to either go for all or nothing, get a bunch of eliminations, or get eliminated and get into that last match. As DKS, same mindset, looking to see if he can connect those shots. Misses the shotgun, but the SMG is going to finish him off.
No pun intended, but they made it look easy on that fight. Kaizen going around, replenishing the dashes, knows there's another player there. Even with shots coming in, he's feeling confident to try to fight. But as things settle, missed that first shot, knowing his opponent got away. He's just trying to heal up, figure out a way to reunite with his teammate yet again. You can see how far separated they were moments ago, but within seconds, they get into the same box.
Time is ticking, and now there's just 5 minutes. And they kind of got to make a decision, you know, as it gets closer and closer. There's going to reach a point where even if you get eliminated, you cannot get into another match. So it might just be time to disengage and start fully playing for this late game. It really depends on what your goal is. You said it yourself. Merstash Malibuka, I believe we're in 68th or 63rd, around there on the series point leaderboard going into this match. So they were just on the borderline trying to make it into the upper bracket, but now in 33rd, they just have to hold on to the positioning they're currently in. It's not like they need a massive game to finish it off.
Yeah, depending on how things shake out, exactly what you said. Currently in 33rd, they need a top 34. So they just need to hold on, have a decent game in this game. Obviously, it depends on how other teams shake out on that leaderboard as well. There's no Chino over towards Rebel's Roost. Normally, teams that land up on this side of the map, they kind of rotate away. There isn't a lot to be gathered on this side of the map, but since the zone does pull back, Chino and Noah are feeling confident to farm up the rest of their metal, the rest of the material that they need, and they have the elevation because of the house at Rebel's Roost.
Meanwhile, this duo relaxes. Let's see what Kaizen was able to do here with DKS. Did they actually continue that aggression? Quick Thunderburst finish. As now all the duos have kind of decided, okay, this is going to be the lobby we're playing out. 50 duos now. Half of them have been wiped out. 25 duos, sorry, 50 players. So now it's kind of just a waiting game, as Storm Surge shouldn't get activated for a while here if it ends up getting activated, but...
Which is going to make this a little bit of an interesting lobby, because it's usually this zone, the next zone, Storm Surge starts to turn on. There's not even an opportunity until 7th zone where we'll need to go down to 40 players. So there's a couple zones where players can finally react, start to focus on rotations, and position themselves for the eventual surge that will come later in the game. That just means the threshold might be a little bit higher than in some of the games of the past.
That is the question, Jacob. For Howley and Frizzy, though. They're kind of hunting around. They're like, okay. Nice and cozy in their bush. I mean, this is kind of a dangerous area around Rebels where you have so many bushes. But these players are accustomed to always taking shots at them if you're going to pass a bush. I mean, at this point, I'm sure enough of them have been eliminated from sneaky people like that. So you're going to make sure that you check those bushes that you're rotating through. When there's so many of them, all it takes is one mistake for getting.
So you can see the zone is just so far up the north. Right now, it can't pull north on the next 50-50 because then too much water would be in the zone. So from around where the island is at, above Rebel Roost, all the way down, that's where you'd expect the 50-50 to be at. And then since there's no Rift Island, we might have it over on the other side of the map, which see where it is going to pull, above where I believe Rift Island might be currently positioned. So a little bit of an easier rotation if you could start it very, very quickly from this side of the map. But the more you delay yourself, just like anybody else, it's going to be tough to try to follow up and get in the zone.
You can even see a duo on the bottom right of the minimap swimming all the way up north, it seems, to try and make it to the zone. Another duo now with the same idea. They might even find each other here once they get closer to the edge. But it's quite a free rotate. There's so much natural environment and cover that you can use throughout this rotate that you should be able to conserve a lot of your shields.
Talk about the north side, not where the zone is going to pull. These guys using that as their rotation. And just really take note here, because sometimes I see a lot of players that are this back team that take shots right above them to try to get surge, but they doing the right thing. follow them close behind. You know you have distance to cover, so shooting here would probably be the worst thing for this team, and that's why I love, and I'm pointing out why they are being so patient. Eventually, they're going to get into those open waters to where they're getting spotted out by some other teams, but at least they made it far enough and closer to land before this finally happened.
Yeah, at least they made it into the edge of zone, so they actually can just stay here. Issue is, though, you got to connect under the water layer or your builds are going to get broken down. So they have used a lot of materials just to do a few 1x1s here. And with the amount of duos as well you saw on the ridge there, you do not want to take any sort of engagement as pressure will be put onto you. Vortex Belusi, though, also on the edge of the zone, but inside of the forest.
They've definitely been kind of having a fantastic day so far, starting this game in 8th place. And where they're at on that series point leaderboard, they needed to have a good day today. Their qualifier won. They got about 275 points, locks them into the lower bracket side of things. But you know, just like everybody else, it's the upper bracket that not only gives you the easiest road, but multiple chances to make that grand finals. And as long as they can keep their position on the leaderboard intact with only no time left to get into games, they got that upper bracket spot secured.
You can tell that this is a final match for these players because of how kind of patient and non-aggressive they're playing. They know they don't really need Storm Surge because there's not enough players that are up currently, and they want to get as many points as possible. So a lot of them are just kind of, you know, relaxing in their box and doing what they can do to set themselves up either for the rotation or even just staying where they are if they were to pull zone. I believe a majority of duos did pull zone here since it closed towards the edge of the previous zone. So not a lot of them would even have to rotate here.
Yeah, and for the ones that do, it doesn't seem like it's going to be too hard for them to rotate. There is a few different strategies, even though there's already a team position, but you can go towards the shoreline, try to ride it, use the line of sight of the mountain to your advantage. But we talked about it, multiple, if not majority of the teams already in towards the zone. So for the next couple minutes, you might see teams that are in this position, you know, play a little slow. They don't necessarily need the Storm Surge, but for those that do, that's where it's going to be tough to gather because everybody is already boxed up.
Kaizen looking to see if he can open up any opportunities here. His duo partner has a sniper rifle in hand. All it takes is one shot, but being 2,000 above, I mean, this is the duo that once again was kind of playing for all or nothing. They either get a bunch of eliminations or get knocked out and get into their final match. But they were able to secure just about 7 eliminations by doing so. And now they're looking incredibly healthy. For Murstache and Malabuka, though, a little bit lower in terms of elevation, but as well lower in terms of damage. 69 above only. Basically no duos have been eliminated since the lobby's closed, and now the pressure, it's suddenly on, Jacob.
Yeah, Robin and Twee feeling a little bit of that, but they have the Grim Gates loot, both the Dash Medallion and that Gatekeeper Mythic. Multiple splashes. They got the 0-point dash, so for them, they're going to be able to get out of tough situations very, very quickly, but a team that wants to enter one, Malabuka Murstache, I saw a knock on into Frizzy, instantly move in, clean that one up. 267 above the damage threshold, which is a huge difference from what we saw them minutes ago.
Medkits in hand, going to be put to good use here, as now they do have to do quite a southern rotate, as they're all the way up north, and there's already so many duos that have begun rotating that they will be boxed up and looking back at these players that are going to rotate in late. So Malabuka knows that he cannot waste time here.
Yeah, quickly using it, and the biggest thing to take note of here is they're saving their dashes. Well, might have spoke too soon as Murstache is trying to get out of a tough spot, but they're just trying to save it as much as possible so they can make rotations just like this and finally get into the zone with safety. You see them move down the side of the mountain just a little bit, trying to box up to where they think is the best spot in zone, and it is a little bit further away than some of the other players when it comes to overall towards the center. Falling down below that threshold just a little bit, and that's why they look towards the backside of the zone and try to find some shots.
Take a look at Robin and Ju here. Nice. Quick way to clean up an elimination. Huge headshot snipe as well, as now I believe, yeah, they are holding on to high ground. But can they do it for the rest of the match?
Hey, that's what we've been seeing so far. Teams have actually been able to solidify very little congestion in this late games for that high ground, but they do got a far pull on this rotation. So it would take a lot of them materials if they're looking to build out, but they also have, oh my, okay. I was about to say, they also have that medallion to dash to the front side and rebuild to take that high ground, but he has his eyes set on shots like this to try to get even more points for their total.
Who is this? Who are we watching right now?
Ju.
Elim after Elim. I got confused. I didn't know, is this Ju? Is this Julie? Who is it? With the shots that we're seeing. Malabuka Merstash, though, they were able to make it into zone from being at the opposite side. You can see how effective that rotate was alongside the dashes in the Flowberry. Now, once again, trying to get ahead and looking at their surroundings. Can they find an Elim? Can they just find damage? As Gripey is going to be the one getting that elimination.
Quick find before he continues moving on in his journey forward. But they know this next zone is going to pull just a little bit, and you see them getting ready, spotting the information. They know where high ground's at, and he spots the weak part of that layer. Shots are going to ensue, and this could be the chance. Levin talked about this to open up the show. Him and Mini broke how teams are going for high ground in this game. With everything tumbling down, this is going to be their best shot. Ooh. But instantly, they reclaim it. It's like Levin read the script and laid it out to start the game, because it's happening just as he predicted.
Another one as well from Ju. Can he continue hitting these snipes? 6 on the board already. Double-digit Elims. They have 11. 5 Chug Splashes and 4 Bananas to hold on. More than enough materials to stay high. As the pressure is getting put onto the duos that are second height. I believe it's actually Merstash and Malabuka now who have to make the decision. Do they want to make something happen, or do they want to stay on this layer where high ground is applying pressure?
Yeah, they heard somebody above them. That's Eclipse and Dexy. So second high has been overtaken. That might have been a blessing in disguise for Malabuka and Mustache, because it'll be them who are the next focus, but a lot of builds to recycle in towards the zone. And you see they're looking up. They're waiting for an opportunity to strike. They see them building out, and with the connection being made, Dexy and Eclipse know taking over high ground might not be a possibility.
I'd be careful with peeking the high ground duo right now, though. They are on fire in terms of headshot snipes. Eyes on Dexy as well. They quickly realize this and drop down. It's Malabuka, Merstash, same layer though. Looks like they're gonna fight for the layer. Malabuka, it's actually Merstash that was almost boxed up there for a moment. Are they gonna continue for fighting this layer? Do they want to drop? Do they want to move up? Flowberry's popped. The decision has to be made here as Merstash goes up one. Malabuka gets dropped though. Merst is left as a solo.
Yeah, but he just needs to solidify his position in this game. Malabuka is going to get dropped, like you said. Merstash is trying. They just need to hold on to their position on the leaderboard. Almost gets boxed up. Dexy on the other side. Another spray burst landing, and Dexy gets the elimination onto Merstash. Malabuka and his run in this qualifier is over.
Gripey now with 6 on the board. 10 eliminations for Ju. Make that 11.
Wow.
16 for the duo, and he said, I'm done playing high ground. I'm dropping down. I'm getting eliminations.
They don't want to just take part. They want to take over. 17. The total continues to go up, and the final 2v2 is going to go down. Gripe already getting the first knock on his opponent. And this is where it is going to get battled out. You see them dropping lower by lower. Ultimate low ground. Robin drops all the way down. He's trying to predict where it's all going to happen. Now they have 2 different angles. Pressure from above, pressure from below. An opportunity to 2v1 while they can, but they don't take advantage. Now he goes to the front side. Shot after shot is going to be landed. And with those dashes, he can reposition to safety.
A rampage unfolding from Ju, but he gets stopped. Pure carnage put to an end as Robin now forced to play the heal off. He has 2 medkits. Gripey as well with the same amount, but who can last longer?
The bananas versus the medkits, that's really going to be the key, and how you time them out. Gripe, he's using 1 more medkit after this. The bananas, 2 more medkits on the other side. Another one going to be popped. Banana's going to be traded out, and he's letting the other banana get his HP up. Perfectly played by both Robin and Ju to win their last game of the day.
They had the same amount of medkits, but the factor that allowed Robin to take home that victory royale was the banana. 2 of them in the inventory, recuperating that HP over time and leading them to the victory royale.
Who would have thought Just eating your fruits and vegetables is how you're winning some Fortnite games today. Low on potassium, no worry. The legendary banana's there to save you. And it's powered by shots like this. Absolutely disgusting work coming out of Jude to just solidify a victory. Are we watching a highlight? Are we watching a montage? What are we witnessing?
That's what I'm saying. You know, I knew we were getting to an end game. I didn't know we were going to get a highlight reel from Drew alongside that. Not only the highlight reel, but the victory royale. And what a way to close out their final match from the qualifiers. I'm out of breath. I'm out of words, Jacob. I need to know what just happened. So Frankie 11 Mini, tell me, like, what did I just see?